right? So it's a nice little quick blend. So it blends real nice. So that's always a plus, right? You want to make sure that you have something that will blend really, really nice. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Is It Worth It, where I go around the world and the internet looking for art supplies to make your life just a little bit easier, or for you to enjoy the craft just this much more. Now today we are going back to, I guess we're going to go ahead and say it, my favorite place to find art supplies, and that is Five Below. Five Below has come out with some new packaging and hopefully some new markers, and in this case it is 18 alcohol markers that are pastel color. So I'm very excited to check out these new pastel colors to see just how well they work and to see if they still hold up to the same standard as the previous illustration markers. But if you have seen any of my previous reviews of the Five Below markers, you know that the black housing is not one that I generally like. The white illustration markers have always been the best, but since this is new packaging and hopefully a new marker, maybe that'll change and we will have more markers to choose from when it comes to Five Below. But as you all know, there is only one way to figure out whether or not these are worth it. So come on, let's go check them out. Alright, so as you can see from previous videos, the packaging is a little different, right? It is now in a hard plastic case, which is nice because you can just carry it along. It's got a nice little handle that you can take, right? So it's kind of cute. It's nice little packaging. You get to see it. I don't like the fact that there's no padding or anything, so every time you move it, it kind of makes all kinds of noise, which I'm not a big fan of, but you know, that's just a me thing. But it is cute, right? On the back shows you all the colors you can have, and it has the new branding that they have just in this plastic case. So interesting. Ooh, okay. So it's got a nice little connection. I think that the plastic might break shortly thereafter, but who knows. All right, over there. So I mean, the markers, they feel fine. It's a little bit more plasticky than the white markers, but everything is the same. The housing, everything's the same, right? Just, I think they put more of a lacquer on top of it, so everything still seems the exact same as far as the markers go. And the nib looks good. Oh, it's got a great snap. Chisel looks good. All right, and I can tell that the ink has already flowed in there. Like, it looks like it's very saturated, so that's nice. Yeah, these are, I mean, the markers itself, when you look at them, are just like the illustration markers, which is exactly what you really would want out of these. So let's just hope that they are the same, because then we'll have nice new markers to work with. As usual for our test, we're going to use a Strathmore Bristol Smooth 300 series. Grab the sheet out of here. Okay, and we're just going to quickly go down. So after getting them all on the paper, they're very pastel colors. They're very nice, right? We've got some nice light colors going on, and as they're drying, you get some nice pastel colors going on. Some really bright ones here and there, which are kind of out of place, but these are nice pastel colors here. So if you're looking for some pastel colors, I mean, these are really nice. Okay, let's test it out. So we went with the chisel first. So the ink flow is nice. You got your different sizes, right? So that's good. It stays nice and clean. Ink flow looks great. Yep. Now the one thing that you do have to notice is, like, from start to finish, you start seeing that this might be too light of a color. Now let's let's try a darker color. Let's see if we can find a darker color. But the thing that I've noticed, there we go, is that at the beginning it pools, right? So if you're making straight, if you're just trying to make straight lines, you got to remember it's going to pool at the beginning and the end with the ink flow, and it seems to be doing that also with the chisel a little bit. So that is definitely something that you got to keep in mind. But the coverage is really nice, right? You don't have to go over it too much. You could probably even get away if you do it, if you do circles. Right? You don't have to actually overdo it. It does bleed through the back, of course, right? But it fills in real nice. It's not giving you nice, weird, streaky stuff, so that's really good. So the markers seem to be doing exactly what you would assume from a Five Below marker. They're actually really nice. I do love these pastel colors, right? To give you something a little bit more lighter, not so bold, but I'm still gonna have to come back with, there's this pink that's very saturated and bright, this yellow, which is not the color that you would think you would get in the pastel yellow, but that is a bright, bright yellow. And then this first peach one that we got is also very vibrant. So you want to go ahead and make sure that you put in a color swap so you know what colors you're going to get, because these will catch you, right? That one's just super duper bright, and so is that one. So you want to make sure that you don't mess up your colors. But they do have a lot of colors that seem like they would be working well together. Let's see, we'll take these and see how they work together. Blend that out. I think I might have taken the dark one. Yeah, it may have been the darker one. But anyway, as you go over, it still blends really nicely. All right, so it's a nice little quick blend. So it blends real nice. So that's always a plus, right? You want to make sure that you have something that will blend really, really nice. But as you can see, it's consistent with each marker. So you're not really worried about getting a marker that's really good and then getting markers that are really bad, right? So they all work pretty nicely like that. But now, since we have these pastel colors, let's see how it works with the ink test. So that was Edding. And this one is Tombow. Probably make sure that there we go. This one is King Art. And then this one is Stedler. Okay, so normally what happens when you have these kind of colors, there's a lot more alcohol in them, and so they tend to bleed and pull off the ink, which is not something that you actually want to have happen. So we'll test it with some of these colors. All right, go over it a couple times. Very important that you go over it a couple times, because you might get lucky, right? And you're like, oh, that worked just fine. And then, it bleeds out afterwards. I don't think we need another color, do we? Let's try this blue. Wait, did I have this one? Let's try this blue. All right. Wow, okay, so these don't look like it's pulled anything. Even even with the yellow, normally the yellow is the one that pulls all the ink all the time when you go over it, but apparently none of these markers, none of the combination of color for this has pulled any of the ink. So that's a huge plus when it comes to doing markers and stuff, because you never want it to pull on your ink, right? And we didn't really let that dry very long, so putting down your ink and then making sure that when you go over it, it doesn't actually pull your ink, that's really big. So that's awesome. We love to see how that, you know, that's what happens. So that's really nice. And then let's see, let's slap something in here real quick. Okay, I think that's good enough, right? So as you can see with that, I mean, the ink flow was absolutely fantastic. Came through, even though it was going really quick with the chisel tip. Real nice coverage, just great. And now it did smear some of it right here, but it might have been, oh well, it is at the end. So remember when we said that it pooled? Well, it pools, but so did the Micron pen, so it pooled ink there. So there was more ink there than there is anywhere else. As you can see, it doesn't pull on anything else, but alas, there you go. So it did pool there. All right, now I'm gonna come in and see if we can't, you know, we're gonna go over it. Oh, it's not very dark at all. All right, let's just use this one. I just want you to be able to see it, so. All right, so I mean, it's nice and clean. It goes on really nice. It covers the paper. I mean, these markers are really good, and they give you some nice pastel-y colors. As you noticed before, like I used a different one and it didn't show up as much, and that's because the range in there is very close, so you can do some really nice blending. But they do give you enough colors to where you can make a lot of contrast, like right here. Now, some of you may have noticed that I was using the chisel and then I came in with the bullet tip at the very end. The main reason for that is because the chisel puts out a lot of ink, and so if you're trying to do precision stuff like I'm doing, like these nice straight lines and whatnot, it's too much ink, right? It's not the marker's fault, it's just too much ink. So coming in with your bullet, which distributes less ink, allows you to get nice crisp lines. So I don't want you to think that it was the marker or anything like that. But yeah, so there you go. Look, I mean, that's pretty good. That's really nice. All right, so we just got done reviewing the Five Below Pastel alcohol marker set, and you know what? It held true to the love that we have for the Five Below markers. Absolutely great. Ink flow was great, and colors were fine. Everything about that was really nice. And you know, if you're looking for a more pastel palette, this is a great addition to your set. 18 markers, $5. You cannot beat that deal. The only issue that I really had is that the plastic housing on the marker is a little bit more plasticky than the white marker that they have at Five Below. I mean, it's a texture thing. If you don't care, then that's perfectly fine, because the marker itself is absolutely fantastic. But make sure you look for the illustration marker. No matter what the packaging is, always look for the illustration markers coming from Five Below, because those are actually fantastic. So if you are looking to pick up some markers for yourself or for a potential artist in your family, please consider doing Five Below, because they are absolutely fantastic, and I do highly recommend these pastel markers from Five Below. Well, that wraps up today's episode, and I hope that the information you got was helpful in some way, shape, or form. And if you have any suggestions that you would like me to look at for art supplies or anything else, please drop it in the comments below, and I will be more than happy to add it to the list. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the bell so that you get notified every single time that I drop new content. Thank you all so very much, and I will see you at the next episode.